The papacy is widely regarded as a bastion of piety and moral authority. But throughout its long and storied history, the Vatican has been home to some of the most scandalous and sinful popes the world has ever seen. From committing murder and adultery to engaging in financial corruption and even incest, these pontiffs have left a dark stain on the Church and tested the faith of its followers. Join me as we delve into the shocking and often gruesome tales of the most sinful popes in the history of the Vatican and discover just how far some men have fallen from grace. Quickly, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on videos like this. First on our list is Pope Alexander VI, who was elected Pope in 1492. Pope Alexander VI was one of the most infamous popes in the history of the Vatican. He was born Rodrigo Borgia in Spain in 1431 and was elected Pope in 1492. Alexander VI was known for his many mistresses and illegitimate children. He even held lavish orgies in the Vatican and was accused of incest with his daughter Lucrezia. Alexander VI was also notorious for his political corruption and bribery. One of the most notorious incidents during Alexander VI's papacy was the murder of Giovanni Borgia, his own son. Giovanni was rumored to be having an affair with his own sister, Lucrezia, and was murdered along with his servant in 1497. Alexander VI was suspected of ordering the assassination. Despite his many sins, Alexander VI was a great patron of the arts and commissioned some of the most famous works of the Renaissance. Next on the list is Pope John XII, whose reign lasted between 955 to 964. Pope John XII was elected pope at the age of 18 in 955 and was one of the youngest popes in history. However, his youth did not stop him from indulging in a life of debauchery and sin. He was accused of adultery, incest, and even murder. John XII was known for his many mistresses and was rumored to have turned the papal palace into a brothel. He was also accused of blinding, mutilating, and castrating his own subordinates. His actions were so heinous that he was eventually deposed by a council of bishops. It is worth noting that some scholars have argued that the charges against John XII may have been exaggerated or politically motivated, and that the historical record of his reign is somewhat unreliable. Pope John's reign was also marked by conflict with the Holy Roman Emperor Otto I, who deposed him in 963 for his immoral conduct and elected a new pope in his place. Next is Pope Benedict IX, who reigned from 1032 to 1044. Pope Benedict was elected pope at the age of 20 in 1032 and was known for his corrupt and immoral behavior. He was accused of simony, or the buying and selling of church offices, and was rumored to have sold the papacy multiple times. Benedict IX was also known for his many mistresses and was accused of committing rape and murder. His behavior was so outrageous that he was eventually deposed by the German Emperor, Henry III. Regardless of his many sins, Benedict IX was later elected pope again in 1045, only to be deposed once more later that same year. Pope Julius II, who reigned from 1503 to 1513. He was known for his military prowess and was one of the most powerful popes in history. He was also known for his violent temper and was rumored to have murdered his own secretary in a fit of rage. Pope Julius was also accused of nepotism or favoritism towards his own family members. He appointed his own nephews to powerful positions within the church, which was a common practice at the time but was still seen as a form of corruption. One of the most well-known scandals involving Pope Julius concerns his relationship with his mistress, Julia Farnese, who was known as La Bella. Farnese was the wife of a prominent Roman nobleman, but she became involved with Pope Julius and allegedly wielded significant influence over him. It was said that she convinced him to make her brother, Alessandro Farnese, a cardinal at the age of 14, and that she used her position to advance her family's interests. Despite his many sins, Julius II was also responsible for commissioning some of the most famous works of art in the Vatican, including the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo. Pope Sergius III was the Bishop of Rome from 904 to 911 AD. He is a controversial figure in the history of the papacy, and his reign was marked by a number of scandals and controversies. According to some accounts, Pope Sergius was involved in the murder of his predecessor, Pope Leo V, and he is also said to have had an affair with a woman named Marozia, who later became his mistress and wielded significant influence over the papacy. Pope Sergius was also accused of appointing his own illegitimate son to the position of cardinal, which was a clear violation of church law. His behavior was so outrageous that he was eventually deposed by a council of bishops. Regardless of his many sins, Sergius was responsible for stabilizing the papacy during a period of political turmoil in Italy. He also oversaw the completion of the Lateran Palace, which would become the papal residence for centuries to come. Pope Urban VI, born Bartolomeo Pregnano, was the head of the Roman Catholic Church from 1378 to 1389. He was elected pope in April 1378 and was the first pope from outside the College of Cardinals in 80 years, and was known for his violent temper and erratic behavior. He was accused of physically assaulting his own cardinals and bishops, and many of them eventually abandoned him and elected their own pope, creating the Western Schism. Pope Urban's behavior was so outrageous that many people believed he was mentally unstable. He was eventually deposed by a council of bishops, and a new pope was elected to reunify the church. Despite his many sins, Pope Urban was responsible for initiating many important reforms within the church, including the establishment of the College of Cardinals and the creation of new dioceses throughout Europe. Next up is Pope Clement VII, who was the head of the Roman Catholic Church from 1523 to 1534. Pope Clement VII was known for his political corruption and his involvement in the infamous sack of Rome in 1527. He was a member of the powerful Medici family of Florence and was elected pope at the age of 47. He was accused of being a puppet of the powerful Medici family and was rumored to have accepted bribes in exchange for church appointments. Clement VII's most notorious sin, however, was his role in the sack of Rome. In 1527, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V invaded Rome and looted the city, killing thousands of people and destroying many of the city's treasures. Clement VII was accused of being too weak to defend the city and was even rumored to have made a secret deal with Charles V in exchange for his own safety. But despite his many sins, Clement VII was a patron of the arts and commissioned many important works of art in the Vatican, including the Loggia della Benedizione by Raphael. And lastly, Pope Leo X, born Giovanni di Lorenzo de' Medici, was the head of the Catholic Church from 1513 until his death in 1521. Pope Leo X was known for his lavish lifestyle and his love of luxury. He was accused of wasting church funds on expensive banquets, hunting parties, and other extravagances. Leo X was also accused of being more interested in politics than in the spiritual well-being of his flock. He was rumored to have made secret deals with powerful rulers and to have ignored the needs of his own people. Despite his many sins, Leo X was a patron of the arts. He commissioned many important works of art for the Vatican, including the famous frescoes in the Raphael rooms, and he also commissioned the construction of the famous St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Throughout the history of the papacy, there have been many popes who have been guilty of serious sins and moral failings. From sexual immorality to political corruption, these popes have tarnished the reputation of the Catholic Church and brought shame upon the papacy. It is important to remember, however, that not all popes were sinful. The Catholic Church, like all institutions, is made up of imperfect human beings who are capable of great good and great evil. Kindly subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and remember to share it with your friends. Thank you for watching.